He was in control of it the whole time. Kill him. Huh. Act 1, quote unquote. Act 2 coming soon. It's been like a year and a half when it's supposed to be, or like at least a year since it was supposed to be released. But it's supposed to be early 2015 is what they said for Act 2. As of, what's today? January the 11th? There has not been like an official release date yet. But yeah, that was Act 1 of Broken Age. Played it all in one sitting. I kind of figured I would. I always check howlongtobeat.com before I play a game just to get a good idea of how long it would take me. And as usual, it took me longer than I think people posted. People were putting like 3 and 4 hours. I guess it's like 2 hours or something. But 2 hours is insane. Like you'd have to really blow through it to get through in 2 hours, I would think. But anyway, this is typically where I will kind of discuss the game, give a mini review, and then tell you what I thought about it. Overall, it was an interesting adventure game, a little overly easy. Like the puzzles were mostly pretty obvious. You know, there was only a couple times where I just randomly clicked stuff together and was like, oh, that's how to do it. Which, you know, adventure games, I mean, I like adventure games. I'm not like a big into them, but you know, I love Grim Fandango. I liked Maniac Mansion. I played that. I played the hell out of that on the NES. It's the first adventure game I ever played. Day of the Tentacle I never got a chance to, but I did play. Oh God! Now I've been trying to remember the name of it. The Monkey Island, Curse of Monkey Island. I played like the first 2 of those, I think, and I've played some other ones. And again, I enjoy them, but you know, not big into them. But anyway, you know, one of the problems adventure games run into is, you know, pixel hunting, or the, you know, solving puzzles with just absolute nonsense. Like, oh, if I mix the glue with the cat, then I can escape from this cell by gluing the cat to my back and then having him crawl out of the cage. You know, it's just insane, nonsensical combinations. And this game, for the most part, didn't do that. It seemed like most of them made decent sense. There was some that were a stretch, like using the ladder on the beast's mouth, stuff like that. It was a little bit weird, but it definitely wasn't. It was obvious though. It was weird. It was obvious when it came up. Because your choices were so limited in how many items you had in your inventory. So, I mean, you know, the adventure games, you know, they're really only hard, quote unquote, in that, you know, again, trying to figure out what item to use where. And again, you know, pixel hunting that a lot of games have trouble with. It's like, oh, there's all these tools against that are, you know, on the wall, but the scissors or the hammer I can pick up, but nothing else can I pick up. You know, stuff like that, where you're clicking all over the screen or moving your mouse all over the screen. Again, this game didn't do that a lot. Most of the time, the items that I could get were mostly like obvious. Either graphically they were obvious, or it was just because they were by themselves. Like, for example, the little mini spacesuit was obvious because, like, graphically it was a little bit more clear than everything else. Like, it kind of stood out. A lot of adventure games have tried to get around the pixel hunting by making it so you hover over items, the item like glows, and they kind of got away from that. And I think that's a better way to do it, right? I think it makes more sense to either have the item just by itself, or like I say, visually, if you're paying attention, it does stick out that you can interact with it, or it just makes logical sense. So I think it was really good in that aspect. That again, I didn't get into pixel hunting. I didn't really get frustrated at any point because, you know, most of the puzzles were pretty obvious, or I would miss something. I'd go back and oh, okay, that's what I needed to do. There wasn't a lot of random putting stuff together, which is good. Oh, this is going to be long because there was about a jillion backers. Overall, it was okay. It definitely wasn't great. I don't feel. The stories were interesting. I'm interested to find out what the hell the deal is with this beast that we slew that somehow is tying their two worlds together. I mean, I get the illusion that the creature that Shay was fighting in space was similar, at least, to the creature that you slew. And they talked about in what's her, I forget her name. She had a kind of weird name, but I know they talked about how there was a war against those types of creatures. And so there's obviously more than one. So maybe there's some in space. One's just hanging out on this planet. But then somehow, like, inside their belly, there's like a portal. I don't know, because I was going to say, well, maybe he just got swallowed up by that thing. And what I thought was actually going to happen was that when he came out, like, all the other maidens would come out, right? They were all, like, being consumed by this thing. And, you know, it's been on Earth, or it's been some kind of time stasis for all of them, or whatever. We're going to come flying out. I didn't really expect it to be a portal from one world to the other. So that's interesting. I'm interested to see how that actually plays out in Act 2. And, you know, it's an interesting twist too, seeing, you know, how these two stories that seemed completely unrelated are tied together by this creature. And now they've swapped. Like, the spaceman is in, you know, the normal area, then the girl from the planet is now in the space place, as it were. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all ties up, like why this beast ties them together, and, you know, the certain happy end that we're going to get to at some point. But, you know, overall, it was pretty cool. I will say, you know, if I would have backed it on Kickstarter, I'd probably be pretty annoyed by Double Fine's handling of how they've been doing this game, how they got, you know, 3 point, and I'm not going to go into the controversy too much, but I do think it's pretty ridiculous that this game ran them out of $3.4 million. Like, $3.4 million, and you get this game. Again, not a bad game, but it's very okay. Like, it's pretty, I don't want to say forgettable, but it's not, I mean, there wasn't anything like really special about it. The voice acting was really good. I really liked the voice acting. You know, but there wasn't any like endearing, like, long-term qualities as far, like, you know, Grim Fandango has like the great dialogue in Grim Fandango. Manny Calavera was just a great, memorable character. There's other really cool characters in that game. You know, of course, oh god, what's his name from freaking Monkey Island? Guybrush Threepwood or whatever. Very rememberable character. You know, a lot of just really funny dialogue. This just really didn't have all that. And again, it doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it wasn't, you know, 3.5 million worth of a video game. But it's still good. You know, typically, as far as a scale of 1 to 10 goes, I like the 1 to 10 scale. If you use it properly, 10 would be a perfect game that doesn't exist. 1 would be like this pretty much unplayable trash, which pretty much also doesn't exist, at least that I would ever play. 5 is a game that is equally good and equally bad. Like, maybe worth playing if you can overlook the bad parts, but it has lots of bad parts, about as much as good parts. Maybe not worth wasting your time on if you have any serious backlog. So with that in mind, what would I give this game? I really like the art style. The music, the story, the characters were pretty cool. It was a little over easy for an adventure game. Though, again, adventure games a lot of times are difficult just because the combinations are silly and don't make a lot of sense. So I would give this game about a 7. I think it was a good adventure game. It's definitely worth picking up if you like adventure games. And like I said, it's not overly frustrating. Although some people do get frustrated with like the whole like hiding, you know, item collection and then finding what item clicks to what, and you end up, you know, randomly picking up items and clicking on other things. Again, I didn't really have to do that a lot. I felt most of the time it was pretty self-apparent what you were supposed to do, and the game did a good job of pointing you in the right direction. For example, with the riddle, they gave you several hints of what you were looking for, you know, indirectly. Like, for example, when you talk to the one woodcutter guy, he's like, oh, I had that fruity girlfriend who liked riddles, you know, stuff like that. It was nice. I like that. I like in-game, not like in-game hints as to, you know, the answer. It's not just saying, you know, press the help button for help or whatever. I like doing it that way. By asking other people, you know, you get help with it. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't great though. Like I said, the dialogue was you know, it's pretty funny in parts, but overall, you know, and that's, you know, a lot of adventure games, what they are, you know, why you like them is because of the dialogue and story and the characters. But yeah, I'd say 7's pretty fair for this game. As far as a price, what would you pay for it? There's not really a lot of exploration to be done or playing it in different ways, so there's very low replayability as far as I'm concerned. I would say, given the amount of time it takes to complete it, and again, the fact that there's really no point to ever replay it again, you know, other than being years down the line and you kind of want to, you know, experience it again, maybe $15-ish, 10 to 15. I wouldn't really, it'd be hard. I mean, unless you are, if you're a hardcore adventure fan, one, you've already played this game and bought it, so it doesn't matter. But I'd say maybe 20. Like if you're hardcore in the adventure games, maybe 20. But that seems like a bit much for, again, this was like what, maybe 3, maybe 4 hours? No, it definitely wasn't 4, because I don't think, yeah, it's like 3 hours it feels like. I'll have to check my total time. And again, you can, of course, you can also look at how long this Let's Play was. Obviously I did turn the recording off sometimes, but honestly, if you added up all the time that I wasn't recording but looking around how to solve the puzzle, you might, maybe add 10 minutes, and that's pushing it. I'm thinking more like 5, because usually after I turned the recording off, 60 seconds later, I found the solution. If it's sometimes not even that long. But yeah, like I'd say for typical folks, 10 to 15. It's worth a playthrough. Again, you can knock it out in one sitting. But yeah, it was pretty good. I'll be interested to play Act 2. Of course, that will also be on the channel. I don't know if I'm gonna buy it immediately. Well, actually, I think if you buy this game, I think Act 2 comes with it. I don't know. I have to look. If you have to pay for it, I might not buy it at release. I might wait for a price drop, but if you buy Broken Age 1, or Act 1 as they're calling it now, and you get Act 2, then I'll just play it probably on release day. I think you get Act 2 now that I think about it, because there's no mention that I saw, you know, that when you buy it, it says Broken Age Act 1 with a hint that you have to buy the second one. So I don't think they're doing that. I think if you buy the first one, you get the second one. Anyway, we're not going to bother waiting for these credits. I was going to say we could wait because we're getting to the S's, but S is pretty long. So I'm going to hit escape and see if we get anything after credits. Or maybe spacebar. I just clicked. Okay. So credits are over. No post-credit stuff that we could see. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this Let's Play of Broken Age. Make sure to leave comments. Let me know what you thought of this series. And also follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you next time.